Educating Essex is absolutely mental.
You will talk when I tell you you can.
No,
At the moment, you
I'm not a dog. You're not telling me when I do things.
Okay, would you like to carry on attending this school in order to get an education?
Hello friends, today we will be watching Educating Essex. Now don't worry if you haven't seen this show, because here's a quick rundown of the concept. This show documents the dramatic lives of students and teachers at Passmore Academy in Essex. The episode we will be breaking down today is mainly focusing on one student who might be the worst behaved student we've ever had on the series. And I will warn you, this episode is a bit of a roller coaster, so be prepared. So let's meet our student of interest of today, Vinnie. The first thing we learn about Vinnie is that he used to be a child star.
Vinnie was once a child star.
When I'm older, I want to be a fireman and put fire out.
I always find it sinister when people are like child stars. I feel like that just sets them on a dark path from the very start. The narrator then tells us that Vinnie is like a star child, like he's absolutely smashing his exams until his parents had a breakup.
But since his parents' breakup,
No, why is it right for you to do that?
it's a different story.
Vinny basically is pushing the self-destruct button.
And it's completely changed his behaviour and sent him down like a dark path. And the whole episode is built around if he's going to be excluded or not. So I guess we'll have to wait until the end to see if that happens.
This breaks my heart. The fact we're having this conversation still breaks my
I
heart.
can't lie, looking at him, knowing he's called Vinnie, he looks hard as out. Like, he looks like the type of man that has the confidence to go into Starbucks and ask for the secret menu. You know, like a real man. You know what I mean? He just has greatness brewing inside him. Excuse the pun. We then meet our first teacher, Mr. Drew, who tells the student to take their coat off inside.
Adina, there is no need for you to be wearing your coat. Remove it. Oh, you were smiling yesterday. Don't be all grumpy.
Why did teachers used to do this in school? Like, if you were wearing a coat indoors, it was like a major sin. What happens if you've got a cold? Or like, I don't know, you're ill and you want to keep your coat on? Why is that such a bad thing? I tell you who would absolutely hate being at this school. Big Shark. The man would have no gimmick. He'd be finished. Mr. Drew then has like a one-to-one interview with the camera where we get to learn a little bit about his personality.
Do you get frustrated with having the same conversation day after day after day with students?
Yeah, I think it is frustrating. Yes, it is. You'd like them to just go, yes, sir, thank you. You're quite right, sir, yes. Do you know something? I'm going to reevaluate my entire life now and change everything that I'm doing based on this conversation.
You can tell Mr. Drew kind of likes the power that he's got as he tells another girl to like roll down her skirt.
How many times have you got the top of your skirt rolled up?
I'm getting the word nonce.
I think this was like a teacher's favourite thing in school. Like, I remember some girls would have their skirt like just above their knee and they would get crucified for it. You weren't allowed. It was a sin. I did go to a Catholic school, so most things were a sin. We then see Vinnie in action for the first time as he sprints into school for no apparent reason.
A young person can do anything they want to do as long as they understand that actually there are certain guidelines and certain rules. Vinnie, come here, please. I'd like you to enter the school in exactly the same way as the other 890 students who attend this school.
Oh, come on, he's just excited. Surely a student sprinting to form class is a good thing, right? How can you tell him off for that? The man is literally sprinting to get there. He's using all of the power in his body to say yes to the register. I love it. Can't lie, that trim is cold. Look at that. For a child in school, that is so sharp. Almost as sharp as he sprints. Wow. Christ, look at the hairline as well. I remember those days. I remember when the hairline was still intact. They were great days. We then get our first one-to-one interview with Vinnie so we can learn a little bit more about his personality.
When I started in year 7, I used to think, oh, the teachers are really scary and that. And then we got a detention in year 7.
So yeah, he says that he used to find teachers scary, but now he doesn't, which he does back up as he then goes to use a wet floor sign as a machine gun. This man has absolutely no boundaries. This man is off the rails. What happens if someone slips? He doesn't care. He's got people to shoot. It's gonna be such a good episode. So we then learn that Vinnie is in like top set for all his classes. So he's quite clearly a bright lad. However, after his parents' divorce, like we said, it sent him down a dark path. And I feel like that's a total valid reason for someone's behaviour to change.
Vinnie is still in the top set for most subjects, but since his parents' separation, his behaviour has gone downhill.
Like, if your entire home life has been turned upside down, surely that's going to have a drastic effect on your school life, right? No wonder Vinnie looks hard as out. Before the divorce, the man had curtains and always had his top button done. And the only reason that Vinnie says that he still turns up at school is because of one teacher called Miss Conway. And most days before school, he'll have a meeting with her to just discuss how he's doing, how he's getting on. And I find it really sweet that Miss Conway, like, takes the time out of her day to do this. Like, she doesn't have to do this, but she does it because she wants to make sure he's okay. Like, she's not a student support teacher. She's doing this this out of our working hours, which is just, you know, respect to her.
You reckon you're going to have a positive day today?
Probably.
No, let's try again. Do you reckon you're going to have a positive day today? You're not stupid, are you?
No.
However, during today's meeting with Miss Conway, Vinny's phone goes off and she tells him to turn it off.
It's meant to be on silent.
Can you turn it off, please?
By the way, Vinny's ringtone is so cold. When I was in school, I'm pretty sure my ringtone was Mika Grace Kelly. I was from a dodgy estate as well. I don't know what. I just really liked that song. It was I can be blue, I can be sky, I can be. You'll have to pay for me to do a rendition of Mika Grace Kelly, guys. 2,000 likes on this video. And maybe I will do that in the next one. It's now time for Vinny to go to his first lesson. However, instead of doing that, he decides to spend an hour running away from the teachers.
Vinny, where are you wandering around?
Look at this man. He's like James Bond. He's like Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us. This man's hiding from the tickers. No, the clickers. Know what they're called? This man's hiding from the clickers. By the way, this person is the worst finder ever. Look at this. You didn't even look. There's also a sign there that says 16-year-olds won't take voting seriously. Yes, because they're playing hide and seek with their bloody teachers, man. They're too busy. Who wants to vote for a political party when you can vote for the imposter? Am I right?
Always end up in the corridors.
I love that he's laughing with himself. You know, normal people need two people to play hide and seek. This guy just needs himself. This guy's clocked the system. He does it for all the games. Kaplunk, Buckaroo. This man just plays by himself and has a better time than what he would with someone else.
Always end up in the corridors, so I just think I'll just walk around for a bit. And then I'm having a conversation with another teacher. So I come here to get a drink.
Where?
From the Walt family.
Vinny?
Yeah?
Do you hate yourself?
Do I hate myself?
Did you behave yourself?
Oh, I thought you said, do I hate myself?
It's the way he says it. What? Do I hate myself? Yes. But that's beside the point, miss. I think you're a bit out of line there. Do I hate myself? That's tickled as that.
Vinny?
I'm going, miss.
No, that way. Don't be silly. Vin, where is your lesson?
Okay. I feel like this kid just wants attention. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the stuff at home that's going on. This guy just wants to make everyone laugh and make everyone love him. I feel like this is the case here. By the way, I've never been able to do that. Do you know how many times I've practiced that, but I just can't nail it? Like, watch. No. No, I just look like a penguin. He smashed it. I can't do it. Oh, so annoying. I'm gonna have to practice that more. Yeah, I know this is quite deep, but I do believe that, you know, during a divorce, you probably don't get the attention that you kind of want from your parents because they're literally preoccupied with so many other things. So if you're not getting that same attention that you were getting from your parents, like pre-divorce, you're gonna try and get it from like other areas. And I think it's very clear to see that he might be acting out just so people take notice of him, which, like, I know that's quite deep, but I do think this could be the case. Mr. Drew, who we met earlier, then finds Vinny and tells him off for wandering the corridors.
So far, since the bell went, you have walked this way and that way around about 6 times. Now, I'm aware that you think that you are allowed to do these things and that you think that the rules don't apply to you.
Christ! Imagine if this man had a Fitbit on. His steps would be off the chart. I bet his heat map would be mental. See, with me, I could never do this in school because in school, I was one of those, like, disgusting, sweaty kids. You know, the ones that would, like, pick up their pen and then instantly look like they've just been drowned by a tsunami. I actually used to have to bring in a hand towel in school so I could pat myself. I was disgusting. I was awful. I would literally be spraying me head with Lynx Africa. No wonder I ended up getting psoriasis. I've mentioned it again.
So I would like you to provide me with a note from your teacher which gives you permission to be walking the corridor.
I'm actually going to the toilet to get a wet
Where
bath.
is your note from your teacher allowing you to do this?
I'm sorry, right? But how is he meant to get a note for that? He's not going to give him a note for that, which I guess is the case. But that's not fair. What about his Fitbit? Teachers never let you out the class in my school. Like in my school, you could be dying for a piss and you would ask the teacher, can I go to the toilet? And they'd be like, no. It's like, what? Is that even legal? There would be kids crying at the back of geography because they've developed a UTI infection. All that needed was a piss. Vinny then gets sent out of his first lesson and gets sent to the student support area for 4 hours so he can finish his coursework for BTEC Sport. And at this point, I was like, get it, because I also did BTEC Sport. We're basically the same person. And if there's one thing I know about BTEC Sport, it is one of the, like, easiest things to do. It's, like, just a piece of piss, really.
I want a word with you. Yeah, I'm here. I'm not happy. What is this? Facebook or whatever.
He got caught on Facebook first. I tell you what, right? Being back at school, playing on Farmville or Yeovil when the teacher wasn't looking. Oh, the nostalgia's running through me veins right now. Flirting with people on Yeovil. Oh, what a time to be alive. I was so sad.
That, no.
My BTEC sport work.
It certainly isn't. This only works because there's a level of trust.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Eminem when I'm gone. Oh, this lad's going through it. Vinny might actually hate himself. That teacher might have been right. Vinny then gets pulled out of this lesson by the head teacher, Mr. Goddard. But instead of following the head teacher, he decides to storm away from him outside of school.
Hold on, we've been looking for you all day. You've truanted lessons. Really, walking away doesn't make your problems go away. You know that.
I feel like Vinny is one of those kids that, like, got kicked out of school and then every day would come to the school gates at the end of the school day on his BMX and ask you if anyone asked about him. Do you know them ones where, like, you don't kind of make eye contact with them in case they run their tyre over your neck? Those are the ones I mean. Vinny then does another one-to-one interview with the camera and tells the producer why he might be acting out.
Do you ever think, okay, I've crossed the line now, I've gone too far?
Sometimes, and then I just go speak to Miss Conway and sort it out.
Ah, so I think you can, like, clearly see the issue here because he acts out and does these things that he shouldn't be doing, but he's not really facing, like, a punishment that he doesn't like. Like, every time he does something he's not supposed to do, he just gets sent to his favourite teacher. So in his head, it's like he's getting rewarded because he's getting, like, one-to-one time with someone who actually listens to him, which he won't be getting at home. Like, if anything, this just makes him want to act out more so he can spend more time with Miss Conway. Why would you stop being a nuisance? I would like to spend some time with Miss Conway if I was it bad. After this, there's also quite, like a deep part with Miss Conway.
Vinny's hard to get through to now. Barriers up, he won't speak very, very openly. There's a few times he said, I wish my parents were still together. I think to some extent, I could be wrong, it's just my opinion, he blames himself.
Well, that's an awfully bold assumption. I could be wrong. That doesn't make it right. Yeah, deep down, Vinny knows that it was his buzz cut that eventually ended his whole parents' relationship. His trim was so sharp, they just couldn't handle him anymore. Also, just looking at this from, like, the parents' point of view, can you imagine being them? Like, you're going through, like, a divorce, but not only are you going through a divorce and having to think about your child, this is also getting filmed for, like, millions of people to watch. You'd be absolutely fuming. If I was one of the parents and a bit toxic as well, I'd get Vinny to, like, slag off the other one on camera. I'd be like, Vinny, make sure you tell the camera about how your mum never put the washing on. Go on, do it. I actually don't know if Vinny's going to improve in this episode. This might be the first episode where it doesn't end on a good note. We'll have to wait and see. Miss Conway then has a heart-to-heart conversation with Vinny just to try and, like, sort himself out.
The next 9 months are going to be massive. I want you to do well. Other members of staff want you to do well. And I'm sure when you're in the right frame of mind, you want to do well, yeah? You may not trust what I'm saying or believe in what I'm saying, but I guarantee what I'm telling you is valuable.
After this, Vinny actually shows some signs of improvement with his work. Like, he gets back on his sports coursework and he writes, like, a lovely piece about Miss Conway in it.
Miss Conway is a very passionate sports person. Never gives up and pushes all of the students to reach their best potential. She needs all of the leadership skills to become the best that she can be. In my opinion, she is already the best she can be because I love her dearly.
Oh, Vinny, that is lovely.
Well, I want to cry now. What a lovely lad. Imagine someone wrote that about you, like a student. I would be like, oh, you know what, I'll adopt you. Fuck your parents. Right, I don't care about the divorce, I'll take you. I actually feel emotional. Like, I say this in all of these educating videos we've done in this educating series. Like, they always pull at your heartstrings some way. They always get you to feel, like, sorry for the main person. Oh, the bastard. Why are you doing this? I can't be crying over BTEC sport coursework. This is not who I am. I just want to stop this video just quickly to say that 70% of you who are watching this video are not subscribed to the channel. Oh, that gets me so fuming. We're trying to hit 300,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you wouldn't mind pressing subscribe, it really helps us out, and let's get on with the rest of the video. The show then takes a very small break from Vinny's situation and shows someone getting told off for bringing cigarettes into school.
What you need to understand is there's an automatic punishment if you've got cigarettes on you.
Place the cigarettes on my desk.
Ain't even my jacket either.
What kind of an excuse is that? Oh, well, this jacket's not even mine. Well, why are you wearing it then? There's like 20 things I would say before this jacket's not mine. That doesn't fix anything. Oh, sorry, I don't know how to pull the zip down. This one's not mine. I know this was shot like a little while ago, so I wonder if in school now it's just elf bars getting confiscated. The only thing in Lost and Found is just Lost Marys. By the way, as well, I feel like every single person in the UK at one point in their lives has owned that Sports Direct mug. You make a cup of tea with it and you have enough liquid to consume the River Nile. Honestly, I don't know why they made them so big. Anyway, that student that was getting told off for the cigarettes then storms out of Mr. Drew's office and calls them this.
Have me sister's phone. If I get in trouble, I'm having a go at you for it. Lob's head.
Sorry, what? What the hell's a lob's head?
A lob is a foolish person. I looked it up on street slang.
Move over, Sully. There's a new top boy in town. And he's got a perm. This man is Oxford Dictionary in the streets, but Urban Dictionary in the sheets. By the way, isn't that just the whitest thing ever to say? Oh yeah, I actually searched it on street slang, and it means somebody's foolish. Also, why did this man go on street slang and not the Urban Dictionary? Who does that? That's awful. That's like holding a fork in your left hand and a knife in your right. Who does that? The show then goes back to focusing on Vinnie.
When Vinnie arrived, he was known as bright, sporty, cheeky chappy, and now he's bright, but not doing what he should with it. Sporty, but not playing any sport.
Yeah, Mr. Goddard, I don't think that nickname doesn't really roll off the tongue, the new one, does it? I think I'll just stick to calling him Vinnie. Vinnie then has a meeting with Mr. Goddard, the head teacher, and it's like he's kind of final warning that he needs to fix up.
Vinnie, you've got to follow our rules, okay? And we can be like other schools, or we're just going to say, actually, all those problems are yours. If you're not here, you're not following our rules, that means you fail.
Mr. Goddard then says that under no circumstances does he want to exclude a student like Vinnie, because apparently 85% of prisoners were once excluded from school, and he believes that Vinnie might go down that way. To be fair, there is actually a mad stat that 85% of people in prison were excluded from school. It's like everyone else has give up on them, so then they've just give up on themselves, you know? However, I do feel like it's like a bit like a rock and a hard place. Like, the teachers are a little bit too lenient, I believe, with Vinnie, because there's no consequences for Vinnie's actions. Like we said earlier, it's like he's getting rewarded for his bad behaviour. Like, I'm not confident that his behaviour is going to change by the end of the episode, but we'll see.
I've been to the dentist this morning.
And how was that?
And they said I've got to eat crisps every few hours.
Really?
So I've got to eat
You need
some
to eat
crisps.
a lesson, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
What dentist are you going to, love? Your teeth are awful. I don't think that brushing is going to help anymore. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to prescribe you a 6-pack of knickknacks. That'll get the plaque out. Who is this dentist and where do I sign up? I want free knickknacks. To be fair, that's like the worst thing actually when you leave school, is that the dentist isn't free anymore. Like when you go to a checkup at the dentist and it's 25 quid, you feel like, oh, who am I trying to kid? I don't go to the dentist. You can clearly tell that by looking at me. When I turn up at the dentist, they instantly throw up their entire lunch. The receptionist of the dentist gets a crucifix out and yells, "Let the power of Christ compel your gums." Oh, what am I saying? I'm moving on. Vinnie then has another favourite teacher and it's time for her lesson. However, he turns up late, and then when she tells him that he needs to stay back after the lesson, he just storms out.
Where have you been? In G4, in RM, everywhere.
You need to stay behind at the end, because I told you yesterday.
10 minutes in this Conway at the end.
Well, you need to stay behind and speak to me first. Where are you going now? Oh, lovely.
The two teachers that Vinnie has discussed are his favourite teachers, then come together to have a chat why Vinnie might be like acting out, and they both come to the conclusion that Vinnie's dad used to show him loads of attention. He used to come to all his football games, like all of the teacher meeting, what they called again, parents evening, and now he doesn't, and this might be having like a drastic effect on Vinnie.
I noticed with Vinnie, like recently now when I talked, you know, for whatever reason his eyes look different. He's a different boy. In year 7 I saw Vinnie as a dad's boy. His dad came to all his football matches. But I think Vinnie had more of that dad time, and so I think Vinnie got more damaged by that.
I told you. I said at the start, it's an attention thing. It's a fucking attention thing. Dr. Phil over here. Honestly, where's my B.Tech in psychology, guys? Vinnie then gets kicked out of his next class for drinking a milkshake in it when he was told not to.
You cannot drink it here. Because you can't drink it in here, Vinnie.
And his response to solving this is...
I'll go stand outside and quickly.
No, Vinnie.
Finishing this and I'm coming in. Because she's going to try and tell me that I've got to leave it on the side.
You're not supposed to have it, are you?
Well, if there was longer lunch times, I wouldn't...
Oh, lunch time's not long enough then? Can't fit in 20 Bensons and a milkshake?
No.
Yeah, guys, just a little school announcement. Lunch is actually extended by 20 minutes, just so Vinnie can finish off his banana milkshake. Thank you, everyone. Oh, no, an extra 5 minutes so he can digest it as well. What is the thought process behind this, Vinnie? I'm trying to defend you, my friend, but you're making it so difficult.
Miss, you got a tissue? Vin? No. Why are you talking to him? Vin, get me a tissue, please. Charlotte? There's flipping water all over this computer. Okay, now you need to go outside.
Oh!
What is going on with these kids? They're absolutely feral. Is everyone alright in Essex? Christ, someone needs to check on Essex. I thought that place was all just like influencers and just like teeth whitening sponsorships. It's actually quite nice to see that there's some beasts flying about, giving the place a little bit of personality. Everyone needs some bastards walking around the gaff. Vinny then talks to Mr. Drew and he like talks really disrespectfully to him, and I actually feel sorry for this teacher because he actually seems really sweet.
Stop.
No, why is it
Stop.
right for you to do that?
Stop. Because you are 15 or 16 years old. I am 38 years old. And I'm a deputy head teacher.
So
and you're
that's
a
the law.
student.
So that's
yes.
the law. Because
yes.
you're older, you're allowed to speak whenever you want,
yes.
and I'm not.
You will talk when I tell you can.
No,
At the moment, you won't.
I'm not a dog. You're not telling me when I do things.
Okay, would you like to carry on attending this school in order to get an education?
Obviously.
Then start treating people with the respect they're entitled to receive.
Oh, like, you know what? Vinny is likeable, but he's just a bit of a bellend sometimes. Like, just shut up, mate. I really want to be on his side, but he's even pushing me away now. Like, no matter how much is going on in your life, it's still not an excuse to treat people like an arsehole. You know, like he's treating just everyone like they're nothing. Just on a side note, I want to tell you that I have started a reacts channel where I react to loads of British TV shows, loads of British memes. We do loads of stuff on there, so if you want to go and watch that, it's the first link in the description. Kirkham reacts. You can go and watch it after this video. Subscribe as well. Mr. Drew then tells off about 30 students for illegally downloading games onto the computers.
In your personal user area, you have a game called 13 Days in Hell and a game called 13 Days Nightmare 12. Would you like to tell me which one of your teachers told you to download that game into your personal user area?
Do you know what? If you had to picture 3 lads that would play the game 13 Days of Hell, you're pretty spot on here. They look like they would be like the early founders of that game. Him in the middle, that lad has seen some shit. He looks a bit like a small emo Hagrid. I love it. And what's even funnier about this is it's not just these 3 lads. There's about 30 other lads that come in as well and get told off for the same thing.
Form a line behind these people. If you speak to me before I speak to you, I am going to internally exclude you. Everyone in? Right.
Why is there so many people? It's like a revolving window. It's like a Yo Sushi counter for nerds. I love it. This would have been me. I think I actually did get excluded from a lesson because I was playing Happy Wheels in it. They couldn't contain us back then. I was a wild child. It's just looking at all of these kids' faces, like every single one of them could be a Reddit mod. Do you know what I mean? They just give us that vibe. Moving on, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself here, but Vinny is getting even worse, and his behaviour is just spiraling. He's even shadowboxing with walls now.
Despite giving him one-to-one support.
No one is safe, not even the walls. And this leads to like a senior leadership meeting with like all of the people that are high up in the school to discuss Vinny.
What he's trying to do is make every adult leave him alone.
Yeah.
Because he thinks if I'm horrible enough, adults will walk away from me. That's what he's doing, you know, and he's right, they will.
And what is really telling in this meeting is all of the teachers have give up on him, apart from Mr. Goddard, the head teacher, because he says that he grew up like a similar way to Vinny and he doesn't want to give up on him just yet.
I look at Vinny, that could have been me. You know, I lived in a big council estate, used to hang around under the slide when it was raining, and there was, you know, plenty of opportunities to make bad choices.
Okay, I feel like we need to look at the positives now. At least Vinny's behaviour can't get worse.
The Vinny thing tears me apart completely.
Right, well, that'll do it. I have to say, I could have been given 100 guesses, and I would not have guessed Vinny would body slam, parkour style, a girl to the floor. You've got to give it to him. He keeps you on your toes, or he takes people off their toes, is happening here. Somehow as well, it just keeps getting worse. Like the next day, he doesn't even turn up in his school uniform. He just turns up in his own clothes, and he says that he's been kicked out of his home.
Why are you dressed like that?
Because I got kicked out. I just started having an argument, and my mum ended up pushing me out the door.
Have you spoke to mum?
No, I want to be.
I was about to say you probably don't want to at the moment either. Ever or?
Ever. I want to go into care.
Okay, but it's not a nice place, Finn.
No, but it's better than my heart at the moment.
Oh my god. This is actually really sad. You can tell by his face that his home life is so bad. And now it's just so obvious that he's using school to like let off steam. But now when he turns up at school, he hasn't even got that like energy. He's just finished. Like if someone's literally begging to be put into care, you know that their home life can't be great. You know, he has been acting out, but he just needs like a different level of care now that I don't think the teachers can give him. The teachers then call Vinny's mum to like make sure that he's he's telling the truth and she verifies that she did kick him out and call the police on him. This is the most dramatic and darkest educating video we've done yet. This is actually mad. And one thing I did find a little odd is Vinnie's mum then does an interview with the production team.
It's not that I didn't want him, I just need help. I just knew that if I didn't do something soon, something bad was going to happen. And I know he won't see it at the moment, but when he's older, I'm hoping that he'll think, yeah, my mum did do that for a reason. She didn't do it because she didn't want me.
I'm sorry, right? What do you mean you did it for his own good? I don't want to, like, criticise, like, you know, like, the way someone brings someone up because I don't have a child. I don't know what it's like to go through this situation, and I imagine it's really stressful for her. Like, she knows Vinnie better than anyone knows Vinnie, but surely kicking a 15-year-old out of his own home during, like, an already stressful period with exams and all of this in his school life, and also on top of this, you and his dad getting a divorce, like, surely that's just going to send him over the edge. Like, the only thing that stayed the same was his home. That was his last thing that was the same, and now that's gone. I don't see one scenario where this leads to a positive outcome. I'm just trying to put myself in Vinnie's shoes. I feel like at this point I would just spiral. Like, it's as if your own mum has even given up on you. Like, why would you even try?
It started when me and his dad split up. Up until a couple of months ago, I think he still thought that we was going to get back together again, but there was no chance of that. He's got no confidence in himself. When you talk to him, he's like he's got loads of confidence, but when he's indoors on his own, he hasn't.
Right, I get you. So your response to him having no confidence is to kick him out and make him homeless. Good. I like it. That'll work.
Other people don't see some of the sides that I see to him. Everybody who knows Vinnie thinks he's lovely, and he is lovely. He's just, sometimes he goes off on one and he can just switch, just like that.
Yeah, true, love. We haven't seen Vinnie be bad at all in this episode. You're completely right. What are you saying? That this man misbehaves? I don't believe you. You can't fool me, love. And the next part of the show, I will warn you, is also, like, even more sad than the previous bit, as Vinnie's mum and everyone around Vinnie and Vinnie himself agrees that the best option for him is to go into permanent care, which is actually just awful, isn't it? And days after this happened, he still hasn't been allowed to go back home and stay there, so I have no clue where he's been staying during this. And it's all happening so fast. Like, the day that they agreed to put Vinnie in care, the social worker's come into school that very day.
Social worker's a guy called Brian Goff. I know he's on his way. I'll be back in a minute. Vinnie's about to be taken to his child's home.
Christ, don't say it like that. He's about to be taken. Like, what is this, Liam Neeson? Are you going to get him back, Mr. Goddard? Do you have a very specific set of skills? Don't frame it like that. That's awful.
Is Vinnie aware that this is a possibility?
He said Mum doesn't want me at home. We had a long chat about life and everything else, and he said it's probably better that I'm gone.
I actually feel like crying. I actually could cry right now. I don't even know this person, but this is just, like, I genuinely feel, oh, this is rough. This has actually been tough to watch the second half of this.
The plan is, we found him a placement in residential children's home. If they're going to take him this afternoon, our duty is to provide him a safe place to stay.
So yeah, this guy then comes and collects him to take him into care, which is, like, you know, solidified that this is all happening. And you can really see it on Mr. Goddard's face. Like, he actually starts crying and throws away his lunch because he's just so distraught that it's come to this.
This breaks my heart. The fact we're having this conversation still breaks my heart. But we have to get something out of it that's positive.
Break my heart. This is actually awful.
I've never had one where they've moved into care at that stage of their life. I sit there thinking of this as a young person that I showed around the school as a year 6 with his mum and dad.
Oh, this is rough. The show then progresses a week, and Vinnie has spent his first weekend in care, and he actually seems like in good spirits, like, regarding the situation.
Yeah, we get pocket money, man.
How much?
£7.50 on a Friday, £3 every day for school, and £3.10 on
That's
a Wednesday.
real good.
Alright, care might be actually mint. Why wasn't I put in care? That's a joke. My mum only used to give us £1.80, and that was travel included, the tricky bastard. Vinnie then says that his mum doesn't want to see him through the week. He can only go and see her on the weekends, and then the show kind of just ends and tails off on this note. Like, there's no happy ending. This was literally the best moment, him saying how much he gets for his dinner. Like, it was a really morbid ending, and I wanted to see, like, how Vinnie's getting on these days, you know, see, like, if he's somehow improved his life since going into care. And I found out that he's actually been jailed for 6 years for drug dealing, apparently, which is just, like, it actually just kills you inside, because this is so sad, because you could see it. I don't know if it was dealt with differently, if Vinnie could have been put on another track, but this is just so sad because he was actually a really nice lad. He had a massive shift in his personal life which he just could never really recover from. It's actually awful that that's where he's ended up now. It's weird because usually with these videos we end them on a positive note and I'm like, well, that was good. Whereas this one, I'm gonna cry after this. But if you would like to watch me break down another educating video, click right here. Or if you would like to watch my new Reacts channel, click right here. Thank you very much and I appreciate you watching.